Now, listen, you guys, a lot of chaos has been happening in my absence. We're going to talk about T.S. Madison backtracking as well as Doechii shutting down the industry plant allegations. Meanwhile, Joe Biden has decided to go back to his old ways. His dad behavior is out there for everybody to see. We're going to talk about that. And at the same time, it seems like Advovo BBL is out there fighting the unthinkable in as far as her new man is concerned. Because what in there behind is a BBL chef? What is this that I'm hearing? Hello, tea lovers, and welcome to the Tea Plug. I trust you guys are doing well and I trust you are doing great. Personally, I am doing great. You guys, I am doing extremely amazing. And I just want to take this moment to wish you a beautiful new year, a prosperous one, a productive one, and most importantly, a blessed new year, okay? I know that I owe you a little bit of explanation for the disappearing eggs, but I promise you it is for a valid reason. I've been planning, through these past couple of months, a very, very important event. The Lord has been gracious, and in due time, I will let you know exactly what the event was that I was planning. But it is safe to say that it was a success, and let's see what this new journey, has in store for us. That being said, let's dive straight into today's tea. So, first of all, let us talk about the internet, and they are crashing out. They have been crashing out, and as far as Nicki Minaj is concerned, sometimes I would log onto social media and see what's going on, even though I'd told myself that I don't want to do that at all. But it's inevitable that you check what's going on. And really, I saw, of course, the interview that Nicki Minaj had with Erica Kirk. I also did see, the clips that were circulating. You know how they do when Nicki Minaj has an interview, most celebrities actually, when they have an interview, some people clip parts where they feel like, it's going to sound more controversial. This time, unfortunately, it was a sensitive issue. They were clipping and cutting to suit a narrative, to paint a narrative, and I didn't think that was cool. So, first of all, they were clipping the part where she said little boys should be allowed to experience life as such. And the context of that conversation was not her talking about grown adults, she was talking about children. So it doesn't really make sense why people decided to take that clip and take it out of context. But then we all know why they did that. It is to paint a narrative. And so they started circulating it, making it seem that, like Nicki Minaj was saying, that boys should be boys, referring to grown adults, which is not exactly what she was saying. But then again, still on that issue, it is to note that there is another female rapper who, until this day, if she were to get into an argument with someone that, she feels like is having feminine tendencies, she will start using insults like, oh my God, you should go be a boy and stuff like that. And we have not seen outrage at all when it comes to her being this disgusting. We haven't had any complaints about that. People act like, well, it's business as usual. They move on with their lives. They keep on supporting her. We don't hear any backlash. Rolling Stone is not publishing that. TMZ is not publishing that. But all of a sudden, because they decided to clip this Nicki Minaj interview and make it seem like she was talking to adults, saying that, all of a sudden, it's something worth writing about 20 times in a week. Let's put aside the fact that, well, they took her out of context. Let's put that aside. If indeed Nikki had meant it that way, then why is it that when she means it that way, it's an article worth writing about 100 times, but when Advocate BBL says the same thing, actually insulting someone directly, we don't hear the backlash. We don't hear the uproar. So for me, this is why I begin to feel that a lot of times people don't stand on principle. People want to uphold values and principles depending on who they are using those values and principles against. If it's someone they all deem is worth the support no matter what, they can insult an entire group of people and no one will bat an eye. And this is why the world is in the state that it is we want to use principles conditionally. And as long as we do that, we cannot stand on anything and we cannot all come together for any cause genuinely. I've seen people, celebrities that I had forgotten exist. They are jumping on that bandwagon. But just a couple of months ago, this other girl was literally telling to a guy directly, go be a boy. Did we hear anything about that? Absolutely not. So when I see these affected groups being used as pawns and this, it really annoys me, because if you don't stand for that cause, don't try and use that group of people to fight your own personal vendetta and problems that you have with someone. Because if you cannot stand up for them against Advocate BBL, if you are willing to let that slide, then how come when it's another person, all of a sudden you have that energy? You want to use their annoyance, their rage, their offense for your own benefit. And that is not right. That is not right. If you stand for something, stand for it throughout. Don't be trying to weaponize another person's genuine hurt, another person's genuine concern for your own personal goals. It's not right. But anyway, that being said, let me know in the comment section, you guys, what you think about that. And that being said, also, let's talk about Joe Biden. I hear he has gone back to his trifling ways. I hear he's now back to being Joe the dad. And at this point, when it comes to this man, I think it's been a long time coming. And I've seen that, well, it's just a matter of time before we start seeing the new Joe. When he first, started his podcast, he made it seem like he was anti-industry, industry gimmicks and all of these things. But now it's not hard to tell that he has been swallowed by the very same industry. Lately his takes have been like, okay, it's like he looks at what the industry deems cool at that point, and that's what he goes with. So at this point, I mean I saw this coming. I've been seeing how it's been moving. Because what do you mean somebody says in your presence that, well, they want to put Nicki Minaj in a blender, and you sit there and you say nothing, and this is someone you refer to as a friend or a sister. You sit on there and you say nothing. These people don't stand for anything. This is what I'm beginning to actually realize, that, even those that come out as independent, podcasts and all of these things, it's only a matter of time before they get swallowed up by the industry. The industry machine eats them up all the time, and the next thing you see, they are spewing exactly the rhetoric, the propaganda that they want the masses to receive. Let me know in the comment section how you feel about everything that went down. And also, another lie that I saw that was being peddled is that there were multiple publications that were now lying that Nicki Minaj deactivated her Instagram account because she lost a couple of a couple of millions of followers because of the interview that she did with Erica. And it was big publications, you guys, that were lying with these narratives, these fake narratives. And these are the same people that in October, when she actually deactivated her account, they wrote about it. And then now in December, they are rewriting about it. However, the narrative this time they decided to change. And if you guys cannot see that there is definitely something going on, because what are the odds that 10 major publications can run a story without fact checking? I'm not talking about these blogs or whatever, from people like us who don't even have any background in journalism. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm actually talking about legit publications that have journalists working for them. They published this story where clearly the truth was being twisted. And what are the odds that all 10 publications failed to do a little bit more verification before publishing that? No, they knew the actual facts, but they knew what the industry machine wanted to be pushed out there. They knew the propaganda that they needed to push out there. But let me know in the comment section, you guys, what you think about this. And particularly, I would also like to hear more from, people who actually do belong to this community. Like, what do you guys think? Because I do feel like your voice is more important in this matter as it directly affects you. Because sometimes people that don't belong to the particular community can be very loud with their voices and act like they're advocating for you and act like they're your allies and all of these things. Meanwhile, they're using your pain for their own personal benefits. So, personally, I would like to hear more from you guys. Let me know in the comment section how you feel about this. Again, I'm treading carefully when it comes to this matter because I do believe that it is one that is sensitive. Okay, now let's move on to the next thing that we're going to be talking about. We're still talking about the same thing. T.S. Madison had a couple of things to say also when it pertains to Nicki Minaj. Now, it is to note that when Nicki Minaj first came out talking about this entire situation, T.S. Madison was under a lot of pressure to condemn Nicki Minaj, okay? And people were like, "That's your friend. Why are you quiet? Say something. Now she's coming for your community. You're just gonna be quiet. Say something against her." And initially, she said, well, she's not gonna say anything against Nicki Minaj. They can have different views and different beliefs. And she did believe that people were twisting her words and all of these things. And she was not budging. It did look like someone who was not budging. But then again, when it comes to media, when it comes to the entertainment industry, it takes a really thick skin to not be able to budge into the pressure and the expectations that people have when it comes to addressing certain issues. So I guess for her it was just a matter of time before she budged, and she totally changed her stance. She changed her tune, and I guess it was all coming from the outside pressure. Now, one thing that I've noticed when it comes to the hashtag cancel Nicki Minaj thing and movements is if you're not firm in who you are, they can convince you that this is the end of Nicki Minaj, and if you don't speak against her, you're going down with her. They will be able to do that. If you notice how much they exaggerate a cancellation, I mean, if you're out there and you didn't know when Nicki deactivated her Instagram account, and you're seeing a headline that's saying that she lost 10 million followers, that's why she deactivated her Instagram. You're thinking, oh my God, previously I said she's still my friend, even though our views differ when it comes to certain things. So if she's losing 10 million followers, Maybe next they're gonna come for people who didn't speak up against her. So now let me quickly, speak up. Which is rather sad, in my own opinion. You cannot live your life like that. You can't live your life going with what's popular or what's expected from you, because that's a sad life to live. If the internet, if the public gets to decide where you stand about things, then is it even your life that you're living? If you cannot even decide what offends you and what doesn't offend you, well, is that even your life to live? It's not. And it said that for T.S. Madison, she felt like she had to resort to this. And the thing about the people that genuinely know that Nicki didn't say anything malicious is because they're now trying to prove to the public that I don't F with her. I support you. I'm against her. They overdo it. Okay? I find that people that from the get go don't agree with what Nicki Minaj is saying, they say it in a more civilized way because they're saying it genuinely from the bottom of their hearts. It's not a thing where they're trying to prove to people that I'm against this person. But a person who deep down doesn't have anything against what Nicki was saying, when they do it because they feel like the public expects them to speak against it, they overdo it. The way that T.S. Madison did. Because what do you mean the late Nicki Minaj when that person is still alive? What is it even that would make you, as a former friend, to refer to your living friend as if she's late? I mean, I haven't heard actual activists do that when they speak out against certain things that they don't agree with. Did you have to take it there? Again, like I said, she's overdoing all of this because she's doing it all to appease people, to appease the public. It's not coming from the bottom of the heart. That's why she overdoes it. It's like almost compensatory to make people believe. So now she's reckless with the words that are coming out of her mouth. Because even though you don't agree with someone's stance, why are you talking about them as if they're late? And what is this obsession with seeing that woman losing, her life? And this is the part where I begin to think that people genuinely don't want to see this woman leave. This is the reason why probably even the so-called friends of hers never said anything with the swatting. I mean, her dressing room got pew-pewed a couple of times, and none of them spoke up. But the moment she decides to do what she sees fit for her to be safe, all of a sudden it's a problem. So at some point she has to be the martyr of for everybody else when nobody speaks for her. That comment was disgusting by T.S. Madison, and as if that was not enough, she decided to conveniently, in that moment, celebrate her achievement from Beyonce. And this is where it begins to be tacky. Okay, we get it. You were on Beyonce's song. You were featured on Beyonce's song. Well, good for you. But for me, it's like the timing. It almost seems like it's a jab. It almost seems like it's calculated to get a reaction. It's a jab without her wanting it to be seen as a jab. And people like that annoy me. As if that was not enough, when people called her out for that, she was like, oh, well, I got a Grammy certificate for that. Knowing very well that people are going to say that, well, at least you've got a Grammy. Nicki Minaj doesn't have a Grammy. You see? Calculated. Passive aggression. And people like that annoy me. I mean, if you've got something to say it with your chest. Just the same way that you sat on that platform and you said your friend is late because her political views don't align with your political views. So I guess according to you, she deserves to be unalived. That's what you're trying to tell us. And somehow we're supposed to look at you and say you are morally upright because somebody who doesn't have the same political standing with you deserves to not be alive. Is that what democracy means? It's insane, honestly. And honestly, when it comes to this, I see it with a lot of countries. Even it's not just something that the Democrats in the US are doing. This is something that I've seen even all over Africa. There are parties that claim to be democratic. They are revolutionaries. They're doing all of these things. But the moment you go against them, you deserve to be unalive. So where is the democracy in that? That's just a dictatorship wrapped up into the aesthetic of democracy. So honestly, that being said, yeah, T.S. Madison, now she's the victim. Now she's like, I can't even celebrate my Grammy wins. I need to deep down my success in case Nicki Minaj, just for Nicki Minaj. And people like that annoy the behind out of me. Most times when you see somebody who says they don't like me, the reason is I called out their passive aggression because I don't like that ish. Like that's the ish that just won't fly with me. You're not about to be an aggressor and act like you're the victim. No, pick one. You can't be both, Maddie. You really cannot be both. Okay? You cannot be throwing jabs and then act shocked when people call you out. It doesn't work like that. You know exactly what you were doing by those tweets, and now you want to act like you're the victim, please. And Tasha K actually came in with some receipts that may let us know why she was salty and why she may have ended up budging. It's because allegedly Nicki Minaj might have cut off all communication with her. I will insert what Tasha K had to say about that entire thing between T.S. Madison and Nicki Minaj. And when you look at all these major switch ups, you realize that these are people that Nicki had cut off at some point. And now they just found a leeway to take out their frustrations on her for not allowing them access to her anymore. A lot of times it's like that. But anyway, let's move on to the next thing that we're going to be talking about. Let's talk about Doechii. So Doechii, in the latest song that she was on, she decided to address the industry plant allegations, basically saying that she does not believe that she is an industry plant, and I guess she was directly addressing Aiden Rose, who I do not like. I will say that. And, a part of me, as soon as I heard that, I was like, okay, I'm jumping behind a black woman. I'm supporting her. It's not fair that this guy gets to disrespect her like this and all of these things. Naturally, that would be the right thing to do, right? But then again, when it comes to the issue of her being an industry plant, this is a conversation that a lot of people have been talking about, not just Aiden Ross. It's her scooping the Grammy, her getting the awards, and people looking and saying, what has she done to actually deserve all of these things? Does she deserve all these accolades that she is getting before people who have put in work more than her and have proven to be successful more than her are not being recognized? So is she really just winning this on merit, or is it an issue of who does she know? Is it an issue of TDE buying awards again, or is it an issue where she's being rewarded for hard work? So this conversation has been going on for long. And sometimes it's not about the conversation itself, but it is also about the delivery. So when you deliver critique about someone and you wrap it up in a disrespectful way, your facts get lost in the disrespect. And I feel like this is the situation with Aiden Ross and Doechii. The way that he's been delivering it makes the entire point lost in the aggression. But that being said, personally, I mean, we have had also this conversation on this channel where we say that, well, is it that she deserves these awards if she was not affiliated with TDE, if she wasn't in Brother Billionaire's good graces, was she going to be rewarded like this or not? So that being said, I understand where Doechii is coming from. It can be frustrating being disrespected, but at